What's my favourite thing to write? Well, the simple answer is what I'm writing. For a long time, and with some conviction, I would say it's novels, because I love writing prose fiction. Although writing comic strips is extremely satisfying, you're still writing a script, so there is an artifice and a structure there that it sort of gets in the way of your creative process. I love to be writing text that's going to be read by a reader at the end of it. So writing novels, I think, has to be my absolutely favouriteest thing. And it certainly was. Once I started doing it, once I sort of got to novel 20, that was my default setting of favouriteness, and I liked it very much more than writing comics, which was fun but had limitations. However, there are two exceptions to that. One is writing the cosmic stuff for Marvel at the moment, which Andy and I love doing so much that I derive the most enormous satisfaction from writing an issue of Guardians of the Galaxy or War of Kings or Nova or Dark Hawk. We're doing one a week at the moment. It's an extraordinary output, and we're loving it. It's just playing with the characters we always wanted to work with, and that's fantastic. I absolutely adore doing it, and I actually love. I work in final draft for comics, so it's coming out like a movie screenplay. It keeps it easy and simple and formats it for me. But I just. I don't know, I love it. I love it in a way that I've never really loved writing comics. I've loved writing comics in a broadest sense, and I've loved the end product, and I've loved comics, but the actual process of writing has never been as enjoyable as it has been in the last couple of years working on Marvel stuff. And the other exception that proves the rule is Sinister Dexter. If you took all my work away from me, the last thing that you'd have to prize out of my cold dead hands would be Sinister Dexter, the 2000 AD strip. That's so personal. It's been going now for about 16 or 17 years. It's one of the longest running strips in 2000 AD. I've written every single episode. It's character driven and character determined. It's both very, very silly and very, very important. And I sort of couldn't, even though I would quite happily rest it for a year or two at a time, and we have rested it on occasion, it's intensely important to me. If you read my stuff, if you read my work, if you're a 40k reader or a Marvel reader or a DC reader or whatever it is, if you've never come across 2000 AD and you don't know what Sinister Dexter is, I would urge you to go to your comic shop or get hold of Amazon, I suppose. There are trade paperbacks of Sinister Dexter, and indeed all my 2000 AD work, things like the VCs and things like Kingdom, a modern strip that I'm incredibly fond of. That I created with Richard Elson. We're just now on the third series of it. But there's something about 2000 AD that gives you an opportunity to do stories that are more sort of, I don't know what the phrase would really be actually, I don't know quite how to describe them, but they defy convention, they defy comic convention. There is something elegiac and eternal about 2000 AD, because the characters, almost anything can happen, and nothing is ever going to be the conventional happy ending you think it's going to be. Writers like John Wagner and Pat Mills and Alan Moore have set the standard for 2000 AD that we're bravely trying to follow. And with Sinister Dexter and with Kingdom, I'm sort of exploring ideas that I don't have room to explore anywhere else. Those are the things I like doing. How many books have I sold? The last count I heard was about 1.25 million books in the English language. That's Black Library, that's not counting Doctor Who or Torchwood or any of that kind of stuff. I have no idea what the head count is in terms of foreign language editions, because I can go onto Amazon. I haven't done this for a long time, but the last time I went on Amazon and looked myself up in that very sad sort of self-reflective way, I found that I had almost 90 entries on Amazon, and it wasn't that I'd written 90 books, but there were 90 different editions of different things. And the foreign language editions, English, French, Spanish, German, Italian, I have got loads and loads of foreign language editions. So I have no idea what that amounts to, but that's a hell of a lot of sales. That's a hell of a lot. I mean, I'm not impressed by that in terms of, oh, lovely, I've made a lot of sales. I mean, it's the extraordinary idea that my stories are out there in so many different languages, in so many different copies. Very bizarre, really. One has no way to tell how well the translators do, except that in most of the languages I'm translated into, people are coming back for more slices of pie time and time again. So the translators must be doing a reasonably good job in, say, Italian or German for those things to be repeat offenders in terms of book sales. I am in the very, very, very privileged position of knowing my two French translators, Julien and Nathalie, both of whom would work for Mathieu at the Bibliothèque Interdite. And they're both fantastic people, and they both ask me questions about the translations as they go along. They reveal to me a great deal about what is difficult about translating in general and translating me in particular. For instance, that French has far fewer words for fire, explode or burn than English does. So my colourful, get out of jail free, extraordinarily elaborate battle scenes, Julien is often hard pressed to keep up with me in terms of alternate. He keeps having to go back to the same vocabulary. But they ask me stuff, we talk on email and stuff, and we meet up when I'm doing French Games Day. And it's always lovely to meet them, it's always lovely to talk to them and discover both the pleasures and perils of the translation they've done. And I have enormous faith in them both. And by extension, therefore, enormous faith in the translators in other languages, because they take it remarkably seriously, and I think do a remarkably good job. Having said that, I remember being stunned the first time I did a French Games Day, Paris at the Stade de France, and the queue had lined up, and up they came, and these were people, and I think it reflects upon the shamefulness of the British that we only speak English and then have a rudimentary understanding of foreign languages if we're lucky. But these are people who were bringing, this was the first year there were French editions of some of my books available, and they bought them for me to sign. They brought the French editions, and they also brought with them the English editions that they had already bought and read in English for me to sign, and they were looking forward to reading the French edition.